This story is about my grandmother and something that happened during her time. When I was young, I really enjoyed spending time with my grandmother. She used to tell me stories every night. One Sunday, when I went to my grandmother's house to listen to a story, she said, "Today, I will tell you my true story." I asked, "Your story?" She replied, "Yes, my story. I used to go out for work often, and your grandfather stayed home alone." Our house was quite far from the city, so it took me a lot of time to travel for work. Your grandfather had not been well for some time. One day, when I returned home around 11 p.m., I got out of the car and saw that the house door was open. I couldn't understand how the door could be open at such a late hour. I went inside the house and called out to your grandfather, "Anthony, where are you?" Everything was scattered around. I was frightened and thought a bear might have entered the house. I looked for Anthony in all the rooms, but he was not in any of them. Nearby, there was a forest, and the back door of the house was open. I shouted loudly, "Anthony, are you there?" I saw someone heading towards the forest. I shouted, "Anthony, stop!" But he went into the forest. I ran after him. The forest was shrouded in fog. I had ventured quite deep into the forest when I finally saw Anthony. I shouted, "Anthony, stop right there! What are you doing? Why have you come into the forest?" Anthony, who had been silent for so long, suddenly started mumbling loudly. His voice sounded as if he was calling out to some demon. Suddenly, Anthony became silent and collapsed on the ground. I was very scared. Then George arrived, whom I had called for help. Somehow, George and I managed to bring Anthony back home and put him to sleep. George asked, "How long have you two been in this apartment?" I said, "Just a week." George then said, "Why did you take this apartment?" 3 months ago, an entire family died mysteriously in this house. No one knows what happened to them. You should leave this house as soon as possible and move somewhere else. People say this house is haunted. I was very scared by George's words, so I left the house the next day. However, a few years later, your grandfather passed away. Grandmother now says to me, "All right, now you should go to sleep. It's quite late." Grandmother leaves, and I can't sleep. I start to wonder if what grandmother told me could be true. If you have experienced any similar incidents, please share them with us. See you in the next video with a new and true story. Thanks for watching.